Are we live? Live?
Lights look pretty good. Backdrop looks okay.
Sound check.
We've got about 5 minutes before we sit down with this guy for the Skype call. Got my questions over here.
Did he give you his real name?
No.
I didn't catch it either.
But you read the book. It's very conspiratorial.
Some people are just private people too.
Right. Maybe he just, maybe he's just cautious about giving out his identity.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, so we got about 1 minute before we call him. But after the interview, maybe half an hour to an hour, we'll go to the first location. We decided we're going to go to Fayville today.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes the most sense.
It's the first thing in the journal, and it's not too far away from here, so we should be able to spend like the rest of the day there looking around, finding the treasure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this call going. Hello.
Hello.
You've got a bit of a filter there, a silhouette.
Yes. I'd rather keep my identity secret when talking about the triangle. When you know the things that I know, I'd just rather people don't know who I am.
Okay,
Cool.
that's fine. Do you want to give us, like a first name? Is this something we can use to address you?
Seeker is fine.
Seeker it is.
So we're going to start these cameras now, and we'll start the interview. Action. Well, hey folks, thank you for joining us for day 2 of our search for
The Grave of Gold.
We are joined this morning by the author of The Truth of the Triangle, the book that Eddie found in the library just
And I'm glad you found it. They won't take it as part of the collection, so every once in a while I'll just go in and put one on the shelf.
Sure.
Every time they're missing, so I don't know if that they're throwing them away, but I hope that people are finding them and taking them home and learning the truth about what's going on up there in the mountains.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the librarian mentioned something about that.
Yeah, he actually gave us the one that we have. He didn't seem to want it back.
I'm glad that you guys have it, but I guess that means I'll have to go down and bring another one.
Well, we came across your book, and really the thing that stuck out to us the most was the chapter on Oliver Perry.
Yeah, and thanks again for sending us the newspaper article.
Yeah, seriously.
Super helpful.
We couldn't find that anywhere.
In my research of the triangle, I cast a wide net for any disappearances, any kind of disappearances I can find. And I found those newspaper articles probably 10 years ago. And the thing that stuck out to me is that people were disappearing. Supposedly, Oliver was killing them, but the author was saying that he was a good man, so it only makes sense to me that those people were walking into the triangle, and Oliver was being made a scapegoat just for what people didn't understand.
Yeah, totally. That could be the case.
We read that in your book. But what we were really hoping to get to the bottom of is actually where the tavern is located. Have you happened to come across that in your research at all?
What you should really be asking yourself is if you really want to step foot in there. I'm sure that you've read that the Native Americans totally avoided that area. They knew, but the colonists didn't, and the loggers during the Industrial Revolution didn't. Even now, people bury their heads in the sand. I've lost count of all the Appalachian Trail hikers that have gone missing, and nobody's talking about it. The only real news coverage was in the 40s and 50s, which I'm sure that you boys have read about online.
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of diving into those in the past. Paula Weldon's a huge Vermont story, the Jepson Boy.
Yeah, Eddie's actually really into the Bennington Triangle. And, if our audience is interested in learning any more about that, there's actually a whole Wikipedia page, I'm pretty sure. But we're only in Bennington for a week, and, you being really the only person that we've come across that have even heard of Oliver Perry, we're really hoping to find the tavern. Even a town would be helpful if you happen to know.
I have an idea of where it might be, but I wouldn't feel comfortable just telling you directions. Aside from the obvious dangers of the Triangle and the disappearances, and the Bennington Monster and Sasquatch, the terrain and the hike is almost too much for any man to handle.
No, we're ready to get after this. We've done a lot of hiking in the past, and we'll do what it takes to get to there.
Yeah, and we actually have 2 locations to check. The first one is going to be later today. It's an old ghost town called Fayville.
Fayville? Well, that's just idiotic. I highly recommend you don't go anywhere near there. I assume you're aware of Henry McDowell?
No, sorry, that doesn't ring a bell.
I haven't heard that one.
Well, Henry McDowell worked in a mill up there in Fayville, and I think it was the 1890s. And Henry viciously murdered one of his co-workers, and he did it by smashing his head with a huge stone. Nobody could figure out why he did it, but later, after he was caught, he claimed he was hearing voices from the forest. He was obviously declared insane and sent up to the Vermont asylum, but he escaped, and he made his way back into the Triangle, where many believe he still roams. I actually managed to pull an old photo of him years ago. I'll send it to you guys. Now, if you're serious about going up there and you run into someone missing an eye, run.
Okay, right. Well, thank you. We'll definitely keep an eye out for him. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end the interview?
If you boys are intent on making videos in that Triangle, be prepared that people in power will take notice. You know, agencies with 3 letters, they're definitely following me, hence in my discretion here, but they'll do everything they can to keep what's going on in the Triangle quiet. Don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, and I actually have a website where I talk about all of this stuff. If you wanted to share that with your audience, that would be fine.
All right. Well, Mr. Seeker, thank you again for your time this morning, and hope you'll have a great rest of your day.
All I could say is be careful up there.
All right. Well, I think that we asked all the questions we had prepared. Not that it really mattered. The guy was clearly not all there.
You really think so? Hey, I thought he had a lot of good points. Some of it seemed to be pretty on point with some of the literature, research, you know.
Well, I mean, I'd heard about Paula Jepson too, but I don't think that really helps us in any way to find the treasure.
You don't think they're connected, maybe? All this phenomenon in one area?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just coincidence he happened to stumble upon these newspaper articles. And I mean, I'm grateful that he sent us the 3rd article, but I
guess we'll see.
All right, well, let's get packed up and head to Fayville. See if we can find the treasure there.
Let's do it.
Give me a water bottle while you're in there? Thanks. What are you gonna do with that?
Find the treasure.
Yeah, but you know, we're in National Forest. We can't metal detect in National Forest without the treasure trove permit. And I'm pretty sure we talked about make sure the grave is here, make sure we're in the right spot, and then we'll go get the permit.
I figured we'd, swing around, at least make sure the treasure's here, and kind of then back up and get it afterwards.
Yeah, but I mean, what are we gonna say if we run into a ranger? The whole point of this is to film a show. We can't do something illegal and then post it on YouTube.
There's no treasure, there's no show. I mean, we might as well check right now and then just...
I don't like it. Let's Let's see if Perry's grave is even here first. And if it is, then we'll talk about this again. I don't like it.
All right, whatever. Whatever.
Thank you. Well, hey folks. Oh, laps.
Oh, good call.
Am I on?
I'm on.
Vibrate.
Green light and red light.
Here we go. Well, hey folks. Brad and Eddie here.
Out in the Green Mountains of Vermont, beginning our search for the grave of gold.
Just yesterday, we found an old leather-bound journal at the local library containing numerous old unnamed and unknown tavern sites in Bennington County. Unfortunately, we weren't able to take that home, and we only captured video footage of just the first page containing only 2 entries, but here we stand at one of those 2 entries.
The site currently a ghost town of what used to be a prosperous logging operation called Fayville.
Now, Fayville has a ton of ghost stories and disappearances attributed with it.
Like Henry McDowell.
Where did you get that?
It's the picture the seeker gave us.
Yeah, I know. How did you get it in your hand?
There's a printer in the Airbnb.
Did you laminate this?
Yes.
Why?
Did you hear what he said? You read about this guy?
I did, unfortunately. Yeah, you don't think he's running around out here, do you?
I hope not, but I got a picture and know what he looks like.
I don't think we need to talk about him again in the intro of the video. Let's just focus on the history of Fayville.
Okay, yeah, it's probably too much, yeah. Probably too much.
All right, I'm really excited to take a look around this old ghost town. It seems like there's foundations everywhere, but according to the old journal, the possible tavern site is about a mile downstream of here. We'll take a hike and see if Oliver Perry's grave is there.
I'm feeling really good about it.
Me too. Let's take a look around here. Well, we have somehow climbed down into the base of this absolutely massive stone foundation.
It's probably the biggest foundation I've ever seen in my life.
Me too. Now, Fayville was an absolutely booming logging operation in the 1800s, but it was also a community. There was a storehouse, a schoolhouse, homes for the workers. This was likely one of the mills, but one day they ended up cutting down all of the trees. There was no more money to be made here, and everybody just seemingly up and left.
Before they seemingly up and left, there was some unsolved murders that were rather shrouded in mystery.
That's true. That could have definitely also contributed to why everybody left. But there's also a very interesting historical fact about this place. Fayville was founded by a man named Benjamin Fay, who was grandson of the very famous Stephen Fay of Revolutionary War and Catamount Tavern fame.
Catamount Tavern was really significant during the Revolutionary War, as it was a secret meeting spot of the Green Mountain Boys.
Yeah. The meeting that was held there led to the eventual victory at the Battle of Bennington and made the country what it is today. It only makes sense that Fayville would have a tavern of its own given the family history. Let's take a look around Fayville, and then we'll take a hike down the river and look for Oliver Perry's Tavern. Some iron rings on the ground right here. It looks like they were all part of a big, maybe a wooden pipe or something for moving water around. All of this would have been hydro-powered to spin the saws. Some more iron fragments. This big foundation here. Look at this. No! What? What is that?
Get the frick out! No. No. No! There is no way. Are you recording right now?
I'm recording, yeah.
Is it
Is this real? Did I just hit my head? Did we find the treasure already?
What are you waiting for? Open it up.
I'm just looking for booby traps first. There's stuff in it.
There's stuff in it. How do you know?
There's stuff in it. I can feel it.
Here, bring it up here.
Here we go.
Go.
Let's see.
It's a geocache.
It really is. Did you know this was here?
I didn't know this was here. Look at it all.
Oh my goodness. Is that like, it's like a clay cross. Is that a Bible? I bet it's a Bible. Is it a Bible? Yeah, I bet it's a Bible.
It is a Bible.
There's like there's rosary beads in here, a bunch of spent 12 gauges. Man, I didn't bring my geocache stamp. Whoa. Well, come on, we gotta sign the log. Green Mountain does it again.
All right, well, that was fun. Cool old history, foundations, and a geocache.
I know.
By accident.
We didn't even have the app open.
All right, we're gonna start hiking about a mile downstream, according to the journal, to see if we can find this tavern site and look around, see if we can find Oliver Perry's grave. So we're still kind of making our way downstream, and I just spotted some animal tracks in the mud, and
It definitely looked like it's from a horse with horseshoes.
yeah, I mean, there's no doubt those are horseshoes. It's kind of bizarre because there's no real roads here, so the person riding a horse must have just been kind of coming upstream and crossed here.
Yeah, it must have been a long ride.
I never see people riding horses in the woods. Pretty
Never.
bizarre. Well, pretty cool. Somebody's out here riding a horse,
Yeah.
just like the olden days.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going, see if we can find this tavern. All right, so we're gonna move up. We'll take a B-roll of us walking along the stream right here.
Sorry. Thought I heard. You didn't hear that?
I didn't hear anything. I'm having a hard time hearing anything over the stream, to be honest.
There's like some thudding over there, like steps or.
You think it might be Henry McDowell?
I didn't say that. I heard something. And
I don't know, I didn't hear anything.
place is creeping me out a little.
We're gonna set up the camera and we'll do a B-roll of us walking here.
All right.
Well, we followed the GPS point described in the journal downstream, and we found the foundation to what appears to be a home. Now, was it Oliver Perry's tavern?
To be determined.
We have to look around to see if we can find an open grave as described in those newspaper articles. But just at first glance, this place is awesome. There's a beautiful old oak tree right behind us here. There's an old craggly apple tree behind us over here. If I was a traveler, I'd want to stay here.
Absolutely.
All right, the grave is supposed to be on a small knoll. Let's look around to see if we can find any rises, see if we can find this grave. Well, we returned to the main foundation. You can see the big old oak behind us. We've been searching for about an hour all around this property, both sides of the river. And unfortunately, not only did we not find Oliver Perry's grave, but we didn't really find any knolls either. It's pretty flat down here.
You know, it's still a really interesting site, and I'm glad we came and got to search around here. And
For sure.
you know, +1, we found a geocache.
That's true. We don't
pretty
find geocaches by accident very often.
I mean, we have, but yeah, it's
Yeah. So we are going to cautiously say that this is most likely not Oliver Perry's tavern, but we have two locations that we were able to read from the journal. And tomorrow, first thing, we're going to be going to Somerset Ghost Town, also in Bennington County, for another possible location of Oliver Perry's tavern. I'm super excited about going there.
it's got to be it.
And we hope that you join us next week as we continue our search.
For the grave of gold.
See you then.
See you then. Know what this is?
I have no idea what that is.
It's on the car.
That was on my car?
That was on the car, and I'm pretty positive this is a GPS tracker.
I don't know anything about GPS trackers. Are you sure?
I'm sure. You're sure you don't think I'm going out at night finding the treasure or something without you?
That doesn't even make any sense. Did you just accuse me of putting a tracker on my own car?
I don't know. Someone put this here.
Who would be following us? It doesn't make any sense. We didn't tell anybody we were doing this except, our immediate family.
What do we do?
I have no idea. I mean, I think the first step would be to pitch that into the woods.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's get rid of it.
I guess we just have to watch our backs, make sure somebody's not following us.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would be.
Yeah. Let's get rid of this.
All right.